Good morning. This is Talk Back to Television, and I'm here with Lucas Bertrand, who is founder and CEO of Looper Insights. Lucas, how are you?
I'm very well. How you doing, Rick?
I'm doing fine. And where are you joining us from?
Down in West Sussex, south of London, in the
Okay.
UK today.
And as anybody who understands, accents might guess, you're not from the
I'm
UK.
not. No, I'm a Melbourne boy from Australia,
And whereabouts in Australia?
from Melbourne.
From Melbourne. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I spent
yeah,
some time there.
coffee
And all
capital of
right.
the
So
world.
the most important question, and I'm not sure it's one that we're going to answer today, but can you explain Australian rules football?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm I'm
Um,
I'm I'm joking. I know some people who have a gal who had sons, and they were the biggest human beings I'd ever seen. And near as I can figure, they get out onto the pitch. That's what it's called in soccer. Get out onto the pitch without padding and just beat the crap out of each other.
yep, yeah, that's pretty close. Tackle from any direction, no.
Tackle from any direction. There's something about a ball and drop kicking it, and then I don't, anyway,
Yeah,
but I want you to know that Australian rules football has an important position in the world of sports. This is going to be a lead-in, by the way, so get me right.
okay.
It was some of the first content that was broadcast by ESPN when
Wow.
they first got, because they didn't have the rights to anything. And the Aussies say, "Hey, mate, take our stuff," and away they went.
Pre-Murdoch, I'm guessing.
Anyway, yes, yes, yes. Okay, so tell us about Looper Insights. What is it? What do you do? And why is it important?
Absolutely. So thank you for having me first of all, and bringing on my Aussie references because I'm a mad Collingwood fan. For any Aussies out there who know Aussie rules,
Yeah.
but Looper Insights, it's basically a data analytics business that helps streamers, broadcasters, regulators, platforms all understand where the product is on a connected TV shelf. So the analogy
Where
I
the product is. You mean like in my home or on the channel I'm watching or both?
well, both, but it's in particular what we're looking at is the what we call the top level UI. So I'm looking at a Samsung connected TV device or an Xfinity device or a
Yep,
Fire TV device. I'm not interested in your particular setup, Rick.
I
I'm
understand.
interested in how Samsung presents it to the majority of their audience, what apps are where and what content is promoting those apps.
Okay. Can you give me a use case for that? Give me a, actually,
The
yeah.
analogy that
It's,
I use is in the old day of physical media, you'd pay a company like us, if you're a Universal or Warner Brothers or Disney or someone, and you're distributing all your DVDs into Walmart. And you'd pay a company like us to go down the aisles of Walmart and take pictures of all the shelf space and tell you how much shelf space you've got versus your competitors, how
oh,
your product's priced on the shelf. Does the packaging stand off the shelf or does it get lost within the shelf? Who's got the end cap this week? Who's got the best promotions? And do you have really good shelf space or are you getting the crappy shelf space down the bottom? And so that's what we do in the connected TV space across mobile, smart TVs, set top boxes, games consoles, streaming devices, dongles and pucks, you name it. Any pane of glass that you as a consumer uses to find the product that you want to watch,
right.
that's what we're tracking. And we do that in 25 countries, 250 different platforms that we're tracking.
So you're really focused on the marketing of the channel and probably the marketing of the actual program and how effective that process is at getting me to say, "Oh, that's cool. I want to watch that."
Exactly. Or I want to subscribe to
I
that app, or
understand.
I want to get into that app and start watching different content. So it's about the signposts of getting, how do we get more users to watch content within your app? At the moment, if you're a streamer, you don't get much data from the platforms telling you what people actually clicked on. If you do a paid campaign, you'll get some data, but if the paid campaigns are few and far between, The
But wait,
whole of
but wait.
time.
If I am Paramount Plus,
Yeah,
I know when somebody got to me. You're
yes,
focused on how they got to me, right?
exactly that. Exactly that. Yeah,
That's wild.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Excuse me
the
for saying, I don't think
physical,
anybody else does that, buddy.
uh, no, we haven't found anyone who does yet. So, it's been, I guess the kinds of customers we work with, people like, Prime Video and Disney Plus and Hulu and all the studios use it across their transactional home business. Most of the global streamers, local streamers and broadcasters, people like ITVX in the UK, for example, AMC Plus, a whole host of these streamers. And what they're doing is two things. One is a compliance solution. Is my product on the shelf as it should be?
No, or as I paid for it, or as I contracted for it, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Absolutely. There's that whole element. And then there is also how much am I earning in getting for free? Because I get free placement as well. Not every placement is paid for. In
Right.
fact, the vast majority aren't paid for. They might be within an overall contract, but there's no visibility of what I earned in earned media or algorithmic or editorial.
You're actually doing sort of a marketing audit
That's right.
on a
Absolutely.
on an ongoing basis.
Yes,
All right,
exactly
but
that.
let me ask the obvious question. How fast does that turn around?
Well, we can turn, I mean, we can do live. So,
Live.
yeah, we've recently launched a live solution, which is for sports because our clients want to know has
See, that was
their,
another one of those cool lead-ins. Okay, so
yeah.
tell us about the sports thing.
Well, do you know what? Let me finish with
All right, all right.
the main product that we do is called visibility, and we scan a few times a week. But for some clients, they want it 6 times a day because the UI is changing and they want to see every little bit that's moving around. And that gives them the compliance solution, which is really important, really valuable. The second bit is around putting a value on all of those spots on the shelf because every placement you get for your title or your app is going to drive some level of impressions, some level
Yes,
of traffic. And
yes.
so we put a valuation on it in terms of a dollar valuation, like what's it worth if I had to pay for it, or we put an impressions value, an estimated number of impressions against it, so that you've then got a way to set some KPIs with each of the partners, whether, if I'm a Disney Plus and I'm working with Samsung, I want to set some KPIs on how do I now grow the prominence that I get, as well as being able to understand the nuances between paid and the earned media placements that we're getting, and realize that there's these teams within these companies whose job is just to focus on getting more editorial placement, and they have no way of valuing the work that they do unless they've got some way of measuring it, like the media placement value metric. So that's a really valuable thing for the industry to be able to go, okay, because the paid teams, they get this performance data, whereas all the earned and from media from editorial teams, now we've got a way to put a dollar value on it. And some of the numbers are huge. We'll see a sports event that's generating, 500,000 on a day within one platform, like a Samsung or an LG. We'll add that up over a month, and we're talking the tens of millions of dollars of earned media value for a particular streamer.
Okay, so now let me ask the question. I've got an LG set here, and if I want to go try to look for something I haven't looked at before, there's a line of about 400 platforms and channels I have to go through to get to all that stuff, and hopefully the one I want isn't at number 400 because I'll never get that far. But so that's part and parcel, but also you're measuring if somebody paid for a splash to a splash image on the front screen and all of the manifestations of that screen and that environment on LG or Samsung or Vizio or whatever as a medium that I am evaluating how much I am getting versus what I pay for. Are you getting into the effectiveness of that? Like how yes, it ran, but did I click?
Yep. Yeah. So look, it depends on the client, but
Yep.
we've got some clients who deliver performance data to us, and we've got a data science team that looks at the relationship between placement and performance.
Ah,
And there's a high
okay.
correlation, and it changes depending on the platform. Like what's really interesting about that is some platforms you just get a better bang for buck because you get a higher level of performance for every dollar that you spend. And when you're doing a paid campaign, let's say you spend 100 grand buying a placement, what you also want to measure is how much free placement did I also get for that same title on that same day? Because actually, I might spend a dollar but get $1.50 of actual value back
Yep.
from the platform. And then I can see another platform gives me $1.70 of value. Well, actually, I might want to go there next.
Do you look at Roku?
We do.
All right. So now this really is the lead in because we've had some conversations on a show that ran the week before this. This one's running on November 20th on the show that runs on November 13th. My guest is a researcher by the name of John Giegengak, and he is talking about Roku as the front porch. It's the front porch a lot of people go to for scripted content, and it's much more becoming the front porch for sports, which is a much more critical item because I might be annoyed that I couldn't find NCIS, but I am pissed off that I couldn't see the Baltimore Orioles. Okay. And so now there's the lead. Tell
Yeah.
because Thanksgiving is a week from when this show's going to air. So tell us about sports visibility tracker and all that stuff with that.
Absolutely. So, yeah, thank you. So, look, we've recently launched this, and basically what we're doing is we're looking at the connected devices that these sports events are being promoted on, and we're making sure that in the lead up to the actual event or the game or the match, whatever it is, that those signposts, those promotions are actually visible, and they've also got the correct imagery and the correct metadata. We sometimes, we're seeing all kinds of errors. It's actually, I mean, I think anyone in the industry understands this. When you've got live, it creates complexity, things move around. But
Oh,
what
yeah.
our job is to make sure that if you've just spent, 10, 100, $1 billion on your sports rights, that when it comes to the final hurdle, you don't screw it up. And we're going to be there looking at the screen in real time, providing real time feedback back to you to make sure that your event is there, it's prominent, and your fans know when to watch it on what channel or what app.
How long does it take a new customer to crank up what you're doing?
You just tell us the event and we can be doing it the next day.
Oh, so, all right. Now, that's really important. So right now somebody's watching this and said, "My God, I've got a I've got an event happening ultimate fighting. It is sort of not tangential, but it's not like NFL and college football and all the rest of that on Thanksgiving weekend. Can I learn how my ultimate fighting event did from performance perspective on the marketing and what I think I paid for, what I think I got? Can you crank that up for next weekend?
Absolutely. And
How
we're
do they
probably
find
already tracking it.
How do they find you're the really important? You're already tracking it. You don't
Yeah.
have to put anything in place. You just need someone to say, "Hey, how did it do?" And
Yep. That's right.
all right.
That's right.
So we are tagging you and we're tagging Looper on this show when it goes out. Okay. You know what?
Absolutely.
The most important thing you said is you're already doing it. Now, you might have a client who wants some complexity and this and that and the other thing, and it becomes what's the right word? Bespoke, the way you Brits and Australians talk about it. The custom work to get some insights into this side or that side or the other side. But the fact of the matter is, on a broad scale, you are there already looking at that stuff, and somebody can call you and said, "Okay, well, how did I do?"
Yeah. How did my event do versus my competitor? Or
Wow.
how did this event do compared to our last one? So that benchmarking is really crucial for continuous improvement.
Oh yeah.
It's really crucial to keep everyone honest, right? Because previously you couldn't see what happened, right? You could go and, I mean, if you don't use Looper, you call up mum and dad or your brother or your sister, whatever, and you say, "Hey, can you look at your telly and take a
Yeah.
screenshot so I can see what it looks like?" I mean, that's insane, right? But that's the reality. So, whereas if you use Looper, you've got the data, you've got the platform, you've got this customer success team who'll dig out the data, whatever you need, and let you know how you're going versus your competitors, or how each event that you're doing, how to improve that. And when we talk about improvement, we're talking about how do you get more high value prominence? If I get closer to the consumer, I get on that home page, I've got a much better chance of converting that to performance. And that's what it's all about.
That's wicked cool. All right. You know what? Lucas Bertrand from Looper, this is the coolest thing I've heard of in a long time. Nobody focuses, and I'm a marketing guy for God's sakes. Nobody focuses on, okay, I just opened my direct mailer. Where's my stuff? I just opened my newspaper. Where's my stuff? Oh, I just turned on my TV. Where's my stuff? You are right there with that. Okay. I'm liking it a
Absolutely.
whole lot. All right. This is going to show where people are now watching this on November 20th. And if they have a question about what's going on right now, they can contact you and find out.
Absolutely. We'll
That
be,
is so
we've
cool.
got you back.
That is so cool. All right, buddy. I thank you very much for your time, and I hope we had a lot of people calling you. Bye bye.
Likewise. Thanks, Rick.